This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All righty. There you are. How you feeling, my man?
How you doing, man?
How was Tyreek?
It was cool, man. Had a little conversation with him. I was supposed to talk to Jake. Jake was on Superstar Time a little bit, but they actually just started recording the podcast down at Soul Runner. Watched a few minutes of it before taking off. I gotta say, man, look, I don't know a whole lot about Jake Paul other than, you either love him or hate him, but he's a pretty big dude. Like, as far as he's not like heavyweight, I'm not talking 6'3", 240 pounds, but probably about my height, and I'm 6'1", 6'2", pretty stocky guy. Like, I can see where the boxing training has kicked in. I guess I can say, like, bigger than I thought. But
well, you haven't seen him in the ring when he's in the ring.
I haven't seen him in real life. Like,
oh, okay.
I haven't seen him in real
you
life.
can tell. You can tell. You can tell he's not a
he's
stick pole, bro. I mean,
no, he's not a stick, but it was like, wow, yeah, he's pretty like tall. I was like, he's a pretty big dude. I didn't know. Didn't talk to him.
Well,
but
if you're gonna get in the world of fighting, if you want to step in the ring and fight with people,
you can't.
You better have some guns. You know what I'm saying?
You cannot be small. But it was cool. Long line of people. I think it was kind of a surprise that Jake was going to be here today, because if not, I feel like that mall would have shut down. This mall would have shut down. There was already a pretty large group outside. I don't know if they're necessarily letting people in until, like, we'll call it 1:30 or 2. But there's a lot of people out there already. Heavy security and police presence too. That was shocking, man. I was like, damn, they're expecting hell to come down here. Like, it was about maybe 7, 8 police officers outside the store, just in case.
So they were way more prepared than they were at the Capitol on the 6th. I got you. Okay.
Yeesh.
Hey, man, you threw up the volley. I had to slam it. What do you want me to do, bro? I mean, come on.
I felt like I threw the volley and you hit it to the other side of the court. You shot it at the other hoop, bro.
It was a Serena slam right there, baby. Okay, that was a Serena slam. That's how special that slam was. It was a Serena slam. All right. Your thoughts on Skyler Thompson? What do you think?
Hey, man, what have we been saying? What have I been saying on this show for 2-3 weeks? The kid can throw the ball. Like, his processing speed, his processing up here has sped up rapidly over the last 2 weeks. The first day of practice, this man mishandled 3 snaps. It wasn't bad snaps. He just dropped 3 snaps. He was reading plays after the snap. He's trying to read defense after the fact, and it wasn't good. And he's really been one of the most improved players at training camp, along with Trill Williams, which is why it was such a shame to watch Trill go down with the torn ACL on Saturday. But I think Skyler Thompson, I mean, obviously there were some throws that he probably shouldn't have made. There were some times maybe he was trying to make something happen before, trying to make too much happen and forcing the issue. Almost through, it would have been a hell of a pick for Tampa, but that's probably a ball that you gotta get on top of. Took a couple sacks deep in territory, which isn't ideal. One of them, Larnell Coleman, got bodied by a 240-pound outside linebacker. That's not Thompson's fault. And I think the second sack, our boy Tanner Connor and Mohamed Sanu ran into each other on their route. You can watch Thompson's eyes. That's where he was looking from the jump when he saw cover 0. So he had a plan. The plan failed, and that one's not necessarily his fault. They sent more blitzers than they had blockers. So obviously it's what cover 0 entails. But all in all, man, for a 4-quarter effort, we knew that we were going to see a heavy dose of him based on his usage at practice on Thursday. Teddy Bridgewater had a little bit of back tightness. McDaniel said it's something that keep an eye on, because this is the first time that Teddy Bridgewater has had some back tightness this summer alone. Backs are a hard thing to get 100% healthy. So I would just keep an eye on that. I don't think that Thompson is necessarily in the running for QB2 right now. I think that he's a guy who, they're going to have, like we said, they're going to have to have a real conversation whether or not they want to keep 3 quarterbacks on the roster, because I'm not.
Oh, that's going to happen.
I'm not sure. Some team does want 3 quarterbacks on the roster, and if Miami lets him go and hopes to scoop him back up on the practice squad, it might be difficult. It might be difficult. But he also is a 7th-round rookie.
It's not difficult. It's only difficult if you're stupid enough to have wide receivers that can't help you on special teams on the back end. It's stupid to keep a third quarterback if you don't have your corners on the back end helping you out on special teams. It's stupid to keep a third quarterback if you're not going to have running backs on the back end that can help you out on special teams. It's stupid to keep a third quarterback if the back end of your tight ends can't help you out on special teams. So what they did incredibly stupid last year with Brian Flores, where they had too many players on the back end of certain positions that were not two-way players. That's why the rise of a young man on Saturday night out of nowhere, and especially on special teams, allowed him to all of a sudden get himself back into the mix, which you were I believe you commented on it on social media.
Lynn Bowden showed up. You can't control who you're lined up against. All you can control is your actions and what you do. The whole point, you ask these guys, what are you hoping to do in preseason? I've had conversations with numerous NFL players, numerous bubble players. What are you hoping to do? Man, I just got to go make a play. Lynn Bowden.
No more Albert Wilson that can't help you on special teams, and no more effing Sam Eguavoen. Nice guy. Great story out of the CFL. You're a one-trick pony. You can help out some on special teams, and you're an absolute liability as a linebacker. You were in the right place at the right time on Saturday night. That was all Darius Hodge, not you, dude. And on one drive, you absolutely handed a touchdown to a team by one bad play after another. And there is nothing memorable about Sam Eguavoen on the field as a linebacker in the regular season. It doesn't exist. So the valedictorian of summer school is over, bro. No more players that cannot help you in two ways. No more. Bench players.
He missed a couple critical tackles there.
No,
he missed a couple critical tackles on a touchdown drive. That
3 times. No,
I
3.
Think that,
go
like
look at 3 plays. 3 plays. Yeah.
It directly led to a Buccaneers touchdown.
Yeah.
So no, you can't do that, and that's something that they'll for sure watch on they'll bring up in the film room, and I'm sure that we'll see some tackling drills because he wasn't the only one. But I'm sure we'll see some tackling drills come Tuesday morning.
You can't have players. You can't have backup players who are liabilities one way or another. They got to be able to play running back, and they got to be able to be a flyer or returner, whatever the hell. The corners at the back end, they got to be able to do something besides play corner, and so on and so forth. And that's how you can keep 3 quarterbacks on the roster with no problem whatsoever. But if you're going to build your roster the way you did the last couple of years under Flo, where the guys in the back end weren't flexible enough, that doesn't fly, man. That doesn't fly. And I think that's a characteristic, and I give Lynn a lot of credit because, Poupart even said it earlier today. What really helped out Lynn was the returns, because you're not going to play a lot of receiver on this team. They don't need you unless there's a lot of injuries. So, dude, can you help us out in the other area? And I thought that was huge.
It was. I mean, it was interesting to see Preston Williams line up at punt return to start the game. Doesn't really fit the mold as your prototypical punt returner. But look, man, whatever opportunities you can get, you have to use, right? So, but didn't really make plays on the field at receiver. Like, I think you would hope for somebody who is publicly campaigning for more playing time, more reps, more opportunities. There's 2 more games for him to do so. There's 2 more games for him to do so, but I don't think it's necessarily off to a great start. Lynn Bowden is off to a great start. The problem is, like we've been saying, the top four is set. Top 4 is set as far as receivers goes. The difference between keeping 6 and 7.
5. I think Sherfield's 5, and all those guys are battling to see if they keep a 6. But if they keep a 6, you've got to be a two-way player along with Sherfield. That's
the thing, because Craig Kraft is a two-way player, and now Lynn Bowden has shown he's a two-way player. Where I would maybe give Bowden the edge is, again, I'd use him as a punt returner. That way you don't have to use Tyreek and Jalen. I don't care how much Tyreek Hill is lobbying to return punts. We're paying you $30 million a year. You are playing offense. And that's it, my brother.
Yeah.
My brother in
no,
Christ.
it's
you are
only,
not playing special teams.
No, only desperation purposes, that you need a quick score or something at the end of a half, end of a game. That's when you use Tyreek or Waddle as a weapon back there. I think you're going to use Mostert a lot more than those guys, actually, if anything, because those guys are going to run so many routes. The running backs are going to be a committee type of thing. But Lynn is also a superior athlete. And that's why the other thing, you want to keep him as your sixth guy if he continues to shine in a two-way fashion. I think it's super, super important, because the other guys that we're talking about, they don't bring the versatility that this kid has. This kid has the potential to help you out in so many ways. And we all saw that from him, that he was a runner, a pass catcher, and now you see him also helping you out in the return game. So he's a kid that has a lot of talents.
Yeah, he is. And, weird scenario with the Raiders. What was it, last year, his rookie year or the year before? Weird scenario in which he is drafted in the 3rd round and then traded before training camp is even over. Like, he didn't really have much of a chance to kind of establish himself in the NFL. I think that he's starting to find his footing. He's clearly a plus. He's clearly a plus athlete. So again, yeah, I think that gives him the edge over Craycraft, but that's no disrespect to River Craycraft, who I think has had a good training camp as well. He's been impressive.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. What's your view on what's going on at corner now with the loss of Trill Williams? I ran it by Poopar. He agreed with me. I don't think, because everybody's written about all the veteran options out there. I don't think they're going to sign a veteran. I think they're going to try to find a young guy, a developmental guy, because a veteran will be a pain in the ass. The veteran will want to play. The second you bring him in, he's not going to be happy being the 4th corner and battling with Keon Crossan or something like that. You're going to inherit a problem with Joe Hayden or what's the other guys?
Like a Xavier Rhodes
Harris,
or Chris
Xavier
Harris
Rhodes,
type.
AJ Bowie, Janoris Jenkins. All those dudes are going to complain about being a 4th corner. You're probably going to get a young guy. Do you agree or disagree on that?
It depends on how they feel about Byron Jones, because at this point, I don't really think that Byron's going to be ready for week 1. If we haven't even, maybe if we see him on the field tomorrow, then we'll, I'll be a little more open to the idea. But we're now less than a month away before week 1, and we haven't seen him practice at all. I think that if he's not ready by that 3rd preseason game,
he needs a couple of weeks. He only needs a couple of weeks to run around.
To come off Achilles surgery.
I mean,
I don't know about all that. I'm not saying he's going to be out for 2 months.
Wait a minute. This wasn't a complete tear.
It wasn't a complete tear, but it's been enough to keep him out since February. Like, it was serious enough to clean up.
Yeah, but I
look, man. Achilles is Achilles, and football shape is football shape. Like, he's got to get ready. I'm losing my faith in his availability for week 1 until I see him on the field. Like, he was supposed to be ready for training camp, and he's not. We're 3 weeks into training camp, and he's not in there. So I think that who they sign and who they bring in to work out is going to say a lot about what they feel about Byron Jones' status. Mackenzie Alexander is working out with the team today. I believe that's a former 1st-round pick of the Minnesota Vikings in 2017, give or take. I think it was the year after they won the national title. He's kind of like right in that tweener ground. He's a vet technically, but he's still, he's young enough. I don't know if he's necessarily established enough to be hot on the market, but he's a guy who, if he's your 4th cornerback, I don't think he has a stake. I don't think he has a claim to the throne as a starter. You know what I'm saying? So they just need somebody who's going to hold down the fort, because look, man, Noah Igbinoghene is a good kid. He says all the right things. He is nice. He is mature. He is humble. He is not ready to be an NFL starter.
No.
we're getting to a point where he's not ready to be an NFL cornerback. I don't think
he
he's an
hasn't
NFL
made any
cornerback.
progress. No progress.
It's
That's
his
the sad part.
instincts, or I guess lack thereof, are the concerning part here. And when you look at that touchdown they gave up on Saturday night between him and Brandon Jones,
I still
I'm
don't
not
know
really
who's.
sure.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know who's the call. But then again, that's a problem for both guys. That's the one thing that Brandon has to work on is coverage. So it could be his mistake. And obviously Noah has been a struggle, from the get-go. So that's the problem there, that if it was X and him, you would know it was him that screwed up. If it was Byron Jones and him, you would know it was him that screwed up. But the problem is we're talking about two dudes that it could easily be either guy, and we don't know what the call was. That's the thing.
It looked like cover three with the cover three beater. That's what the route that Darden ran gets you right between the corner and the safety. You send two across the field. It didn't help that Duke Riley and I think Sam Igbinoghene bit so incredibly hard on the play action. But if you watch, I need to watch the L22 because if watching the dots, you kind of see Brandon Jones take a step forward on the play action. And so if his job is that quarter and he plays forward he bites on the play action and realizes shit, it's a pass, then it kind of looked like he's scrambling. That's why he's chasing Darden across the field. Like if he's supposed to be in the flat, I don't see why he would be on that side of the field. That's why I'm not so ready to call it a cover three. It could very well be cover four. It would explain why, it would explain a little bit why Noah was playing outside leverage on Darden to start if he expected help on the inside. It would explain why Nick Needham was, rolled so far over the field. So I don't know. We don't know what the coverage is. This is why, I've learned one thing I've learned in my NFL coverage is to not snap to judgment on a play because we don't know the assignment. We don't know what they're asked to do. You can think that like that's why I've had an NFL GM told me FPFF, F word PFF, because they don't know what the F our guys are asked to do. Like they don't know. So they're assigning grades. They could be grading on this scale when he was asked to do Y. They're grading for X and the man's asked to do Y. So they don't know what they're doing. So that's why PFF grades are so funny because like people want to.
There we go.
So let's watch it.
Go ahead. Sean, you're teasing us.
You see how Brandon Jones is scrambling?
Yeah.
Eyes too far in the backfield. That's why I'm not positive. I'm not positive. You got Noah playing outside leverage. He runs straight back, realizes Brandon Jones is underneath, and he tries to cover over the top. I guess that would explain the cushion. That would explain the soft coverage. But again, this is all in defense of Noah Igbinoghene because he could very well, that could have been his man in cover three, and he's just playing too far off. But either way,
it seems to me like Noah's got. It seems to me like Noah's got the deep coverage, and he just didn't read and react right. That's all. But again,
both,
you just
don't. It can be both. Like the instincts are off. And it could just be a bad call. It could because when you look at that, they had two. Whoever number 10 is, they had two receivers that were essentially wide open.
There's people there to make a play. So and the problem with instincts, Noah doesn't have any because he's a receiver still trying to develop those instincts. And the only way you develop those instincts, dude, is to go out there and make a shit ton of mistakes. And then eventually the light will go on and you'll figure it out, hopefully. The problem is how many teams have the luxury of allowing you to go out there and just play and make all kinds of mistakes. They just don't. And that's the like he's the kind of kid that needs the USFL. You see what I'm saying? He kind of needs to go somewhere where he would play if there was a minor league system for him. Because when you're asking for a player to change positions, and then all of a sudden they've played receiver their whole career, and now in their college career, you ask them to change a corner, it just becomes a real challenge for those kind of cats. And especially at this level, that as you know, the guys at this level, this is the difference. They're all blessed with ability, but the guy that can be smarter than the other guy, the guy that can think faster than the other guy, that's the guy that succeeds in this league.
I'm kind of surprised why Noah hasn't either been tried out or insisted on working as a punt returner, considering he's this plus athlete. converted wide receiver. Like, you've got the speed to do it.
Right.
Figure it out. Like,
Yeah.
why be a gunner? Try to return. But I don't know, man. Look, he has been in hell in practice with Tyreek Hill. Jalen Darden kept him there in one-on-ones. Julio Jones kept him there in 11-on-11 last week. And then Jalen Darden brought him right back to hell in mid-game. So it's a matter of, okay, man, like, yeah, I'd understand if you're getting cooked by Tyreek Hill. I even moderately understand if you are by Julio Jones, if you're getting mossed by Julio Jones. But, like, Jalen Darden should not be giving you this type of work right now.
Right. Yeah.
Like, it's concerning for his abilities as a cornerback, man. But, like, as a person, I hate having to do this. I hate criticizing him like this because he's such a mature, like, he's a good kid. He's a good dude. The instincts just don't seem to be there.
Yep. Austin Jackson, your thoughts?
I think, like, Omar has been saying he looks like an NFL starter, and I agree. I don't know if he's, a Pro Bowl caliber starter right now, but at least he looks comfortable on the right side. He looks comfortable in what he's being asked to do in this offense. I think the wide zone is going to help the more athletic guys, and it seems to be doing that so far. They've got so many, as I've been saying for months, this coaching staff has so much offensive line experience, so much offensive line development experience between Frank Smith and Matt Alpenbaum, and even Lemuel Jean-Pierre, who's a former NFL lineman and can now take kind of a step back, from being the guy, from being the position coach. Because I've talked to guys about Lim, and I think his value is the value is in the chemistry that he brings. His value is in how he can relate to players and how they confide in him and this and that. I don't know if he was that good of a position coach, but as an assistant coach right now, as he learns, he's got value on this team. So Austin Jackson has been far improved. This line in general has been much improved. They struggled to run block last week, and that kind of showed up on game day as well. But Tampa's sold out to stop the run a little bit, and that is their forte. So you can only read so far into it.
So did you pick up drinking? Did you start doing cocaine? What kind of hard drugs are you doing now that you actually watch Larnell Coleman become a serviceable player?
Who said he was a serviceable player? I think he's their swing tackle by default right now because it's between him and
he did a good
Greg
job
Little.
After the sack, he did a good job the rest of the night.
Sure. Yeah,
what?
Sure. I don't know if he's
You're not going to give him any love at least.
He's the swing tackle by default.
He didn't play bad on Saturday night. He did all right on Saturday night, dude.
He didn't play bad. He didn't play great. Like, he's not like one of my stars.
He didn't play like Larnell Coleman.
It's one of those where, if you're not talking about offensive linemen, they're probably doing it all right. They're probably doing okay.
Right.
So we didn't talk about him for most of the night.
On the touchdown to the right side of Skyler threw, he was the key tackle on that pass rush. He guided that guy right outside and kept him away from Skyler. Skyler could step into the pocket and unload and throw the touchdown. So I'm just saying, I got to give Larnell has been so terrible. He never even looked like he resembled an NFL lineman. The guys actually look serviceable. And against Tampa, he ended up winning all his one-on-ones that one day. It was like he's doing things that you never saw Larnell Coleman do. Give him a little love, bro. Come on. You're a meanie. You're a meanie.
Good coaching and the Teron Armstead effect, That'll do it. I loved that play call, though, from McDaniel. Right off the turnover, plus territory. Be aggressive, take a shot down the field, and it worked out. I like that. As a play caller, I thought that Mike McDaniel showed us some chops Saturday.
You're a mean individual. Yeah. Poor young man is working his ass off. You're constantly ripping Larnell Coleman. And now that he plays a little bit, Marcel can't give him a little love for showing the edge.
Hey, look. I think this is the first time I've ever talked about Larnell Coleman, to be fair.
All right. So give me a name that caught your eye and you're saying, that guy should make this team or might make this team? Who is it?
I mean, same guy that I mentioned a few days ago, Tanner Connor, man. Clocked him at 20.88 miles per hour. The guy can move at tight end. That's the speed that they're looking for. Showed a little yak ability. Forced the penalty by getting downfield on kickoff so fast. So we know he plays special teams. I'm telling you, man, like, he is a guy who, if they take 3 tight ends, like, it's going to have to be a decision between Hunter Long and Tanner Connor. Like, I know they're going to have to eat a little bit of money, I believe, if they let go of Hunter Long, but I think Tanner Connor's got some crazy upside here, and I think that he might fit the system a little better than Mike Gesicki, who knows? I know Omar has floated this idea before of Gesicki for Roquan Smith. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I also don't think that Gesicki is.
They don't need a tight.
It's not exactly.
Does Omar know? They don't need a tight end, bro. They don't need a tight end.
They don't. They have like 9 tight ends in that.
Right, and they have that Cole, whatever guy. He's actually a decent tight end. Not this incredible. Yeah, that guy. He's fine. They have tight ends, so it's that's not a trade that'll work out.
I don't agree with that trade specifically, but I wouldn't be totally stunned if Gesicki was traded, just because he's not exactly a hand and glove fit in this scheme.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I can see him being traded.
In that case, then they would probably roll out with Smythe, Long, and Tanner Connor.
I think in a perfect world, they're going to wait to trade Gesicki more towards the trading deadline. They want to find out what they have, if they can make him a blocker, play him throughout the season, because he's a pass catcher. But the thing that you did bring up with Tanner Connor that's interesting is it's a theme from the whole team. It's, okay, McDaniel got there and said, wow, this team's slow. And Chris Greer's like, yeah. So let's go add some speed. And Tyreek and Cedric's actually fast for a big slot guy. He's got some speed. Then they added Mostert and they added Chase to add speed there. And now all of a sudden they see this Tanner Connor kid who's a converted wide receiver to tight end, ran track and all that. So now they're looking to add speed to that dimension of that position. That is the theme of this entire offseason. Add speed everywhere and anywhere you can on offense.
Add speed. Go fast. There's a clip of Mike McDaniel from F1 that I know is going to be brought up multiple times this season, where he's like, go faster. You need to go faster. That's my only coaching note. That's this team in a nutshell. Faster.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things I talked about on Saturday after the game, the fortunate thing is you have a quick twitch athlete in Tua. Tua's a guy that can decipher quickly, and he proved it last 2 years after behind no line and no running game. He had to make quick decisions. Now he will make quick decisions that are favorable to him on a consistent basis, because you will not be able to stay with all that speed on the field. There's going to be a mismatch on every down somewhere, and Tua's going to find that mismatch and take advantage of it. So the fact that you have a guy that doesn't hold on to the ball, pat, looking around, this is a guy that can look quickly and decipher quickly and deliver quickly, is a plus to having all this speed on the field. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, speed creates a mismatch because you can't necessarily scheme around it. You know what I mean? You can think to be in the right place at the right time. The Bills were in the right place at the right time with 13 seconds left. Tyreek's just faster than them. So you can have the perfect play call. It doesn't matter when you have a game breaker, and this offense is full of game breakers.
Yep, I'm with you there. All right, Cameron Good. Why would you keep what's it called? Mr. CFL. Cameron Good looks to me like the kind of guy. 2 7th-round picks, Skyler and Cameron Good, making an impact and earning a roster spot on this team.
Yeah, it just speaks to the scouting department, right? Their college scouting department. The fact that they could still find quality in the 7th round. He, I believe, is the 7th in history, in Cal's history in sacks. Like, we knew that he had pass rush talent, He's going to be cheaper. He's younger, more malleable, I guess, than Sam Eguavoen. It's going to be a battle. It's a battle to watch. It's a battle to watch. But either way, I think that Good is somebody that you can stash on the practice squad. I'm not sure if Eguavoen is, so it depends on how highly they value Sam Eguavoen.
I disagree with you. I don't think you're going to be able to hide Cameron Good on the practice squad. I think that's a guy you have to keep on your active roster. He takes Eguavoen's space, is what I'm trying to tell you. I don't think Sam Eguavoen makes this team. I think a guy like Cameron Good is going to be on the back end. And you just answered it right there. You already knew he can play on the line. Well, guess what? He can also help you out at linebacker. So the fact that he can play two ways, and if he can help you out on special teams, then all of a sudden you got yourself, a pretty versatile player.
And versatility is always going to get you the nod unless you're a bona fide superstar. If you're on the roster bubble, versatility always gets you the nod. So 2 games left, still several practices left to go. Can't wait to see that joint practice with the Eagles in a couple of weeks. Just, increased adversity. Response to adversity is really important to Mike McDaniel. I asked him about it last week. So how you respond in adverse situations, I want to see Good. I want to see Good keep his head when his back's against the wall a couple more times this summer, and then we'll see if, I give him the nod. I got to turn in a 53-man roster pretty soon here anyway. So, I'm still personally undecided.
Finest energy drink on the planet is Edge Energy Drink. Go to myedgedrink.com. Use our code Big O. You will get 10% off. You cannot get it in a store. You got to order it online, and we deliver it right to your home. So go to myedgedrink.com. That's myedgedrink.com, and use my code Big O to get 10% off. All right. What are you working on over on ESPN so folks can check you out, my friend?
Yeah, I'm about to take Jake Paul one-on-one. We're about to go run routes on the field. I'm going to post that. I'm just fucking with Jake. I'm not. Getting ready for practice tomorrow. Still got a grand piece. I can tell you that the focus is Tua, the one I've been working on. That's what's coming. This was a good this is going to go a long way. My conversations today are going to go a long way toward that story. So looking forward to getting that hammered out. Writing about cornerbacks coming up this week. That should be coming out either Wednesday or Thursday. And from there, it's more reactive, man. We'll see. We'll write as the stories come along. As I always love that football season is back. I don't care if it's preseason football. It's better than speculation. So I love being able to talk about things that we've actually seen.
All right, there you go. And follow him on Twitter at Marcel_LJ, and catch him twice a week here with our Edge Energy Drink Miami Dolphins Insider Report. And remember, myedgedrink.com. Use our code Big O and get 10% off. Delicious, smooth, and zero aftertaste. Edge Energy Drink. Marcel, as always, thank you, my friend. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. See y'all Thursday.
You got it. There you go. You got the edge.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.